Alright, today I'm going to be talking about the knot. Not just any knot, not this knot. I'm going to be talking about the nautical mile and its counterpart, the knot. Let me tell you what, it is not what it seems. So a little bit about me and my background on the subject. My brother's a pilot for a company called Club Jet. My uncle is a captain for Delta. And then I'm also learning to be a commercial aviation pilot, so I deal with the nautical mile and knot a lot, and I plan to use it a ton in my future. Since many of you may not know what a nautical mile is and or a knot, I'm here to inform you on what a nautical mile and a knot is, why we use it, and the history of it. So what is a nautical mile? Well, a nautical mile is mainly used at sea and in aviation, and it is a measurement used for distance. According to science, how stuff works, a nautical mile is based off the circumference of the Earth. 1 nautical mile is equal to 1.1508 of a mile, so it is slightly larger than your typical mile. And then what is a knot? Well, a knot is its counterpart, and it is speed. 1 nautical mile per hour is equal to 1 knot. So a little bit about the history and why we are using this. Back in the 16th century, according to history.com, mathematician Edmund Günther knew that he could cut the Earth into sections. So we had longitude and latitude, and he knew that between 2 longitude, he could cut it into 60 sections, and that's how he basically came up with the measurement. If you traveled 1 minute across the Mediterranean, you would have traveled 1/60th degree across the longitude. So, and then why we use the knot in the 17th century, according to history.com, sailors used a method called the Dutchman's log. And they tied a rope to a log, and then they would tie knots every foot. And then they would set a timer for 30 seconds to throw the log overboard, and however many knots it pulled out within the timer, that's how many knots they were going. And then, according to history.com, in 1929, this method was adopted by the U.S. And then a little bit on why we use the nautical mile and its counterpart, the knot, is basically for directional purposes. According to The Guardian, 1 nautical mile along the Mediterranean is 1 minute. So as we travel 1 minute across the sea, we are traveling 1/60th degree. So basically, if we travel 50 miles versus 50 nautical miles, we will know exactly where we are if we use the nautical miles on the longitude and latitudinal plane. But if we travel 50 miles, we will not have our exact coordinal position. So that's why we use the nautical mile. So today I talked about the nautical mile and the knot. I talked about what it is, which is a measurement for a unit of measurement based off circumference of the Earth, used in aviation and sea. And then I talked about the history. I talked about Edmund Günther, knowing that he could cut the Earth into sections. And I talked about the Dutchman's log. And then lastly, I talked about why we use it. And that was basically for directional purposes, so we know exactly where we are going to be and where we need to be. So hopefully now you'll have a little bit more appreciation for when you're flying, or even if you're at sea,